Good morning, guys. Anita Dawn here from Strong After 60, and I am on a mission to get people over 60 strong. So, this week, I'm going to be demonstrating and explaining to you about basic beginner type strength training exercises with body weight, and quite possibly, we would use also if you have a band but you don't need it. I'm just going to demonstrate how you can progress your exercises, and also 2 little bottles of water can help you just in case you're already fairly strong. All right, so let's get started. So the shoulders, they don't need a lot of resistance to overload them and to get stronger. Okay. But they're really important because the shoulders are involved in most upper body exercises and in everyday life, carrying shopping, opening doors, closing doors, picking up things. And so many people I come across, so many of my clients sustain shoulder injuries. Well, they used to until they came to me. So it's really important that we're going to look at, first of all, mobility, and then we're going to look at stability and strength. That's really important. Okay. So if you want to sit yourself down on a chair, you can stand if you want to, but it's all about upper body really. And because it's really gentle, we're not going to do a warm up today, but we're going to mobilize those shoulders. Okay. So I'm going to sit down here. And first of all, we want to know that we have a lot of movement in the shoulders and we need to maintain that movement. So we're going to shrug the shoulders up to the ears and draw them down away from the ears. We tend to exercise with our shoulders up and we get a lot of tension and stress around the neck and the upper back there. So we want to keep the shoulders down most of the time. Yeah. And then we're going to protract and retract. So I'll just turn sideways so you can see I'm rounding, I'm stretching the middle back there, middle upper back, and then I'm retracting, I'm squeezing them together. So this is like a stretch, but this is also poor posture. So we need to be aware that we're not going into that poor postural alignment, and also that we're not really retracting, particularly when we're going to be pushing. We don't want to drop down or forward into the shoulder girdle and just hang in the bones. We want to learn to stabilize those shoulders and shoulder blades. All right. So generally speaking, we want wide across the collarbone, not protracted and not retracted unless we're working the muscles in particular there. And then we want to think about, how does the arm feel? Is it suitable for you to lift the arm up? And if we go above shoulder height, we want to lead with the thumb there. And how's the other arm as well? So it's really important that we have the mobility. There's no point getting stronger in a small range of movement, because one day you might need to reach up a little higher and then you might damage your shoulder. Okay. And then to the side as well. Again, if you have the palm facing the floor, then just up to the shoulder height. And if we want to go higher, then we just lead. So how does that feel? Yeah, just go through the ranges there. So sitting down, we don't have to worry about the spinal position too much, and just get a movement for the arms and the shoulders there. Yeah. And then taking the arms behind us and back. Yeah. Reaching back. How does that feel? Because the shoulder slightly rotates in the shoulder joint there. Yeah. And then coming all the way up and down. So if you have any discomfort there, reduce the range of movement and just gently, slowly extend it over time, depending on what the issue is. You might have some technical issue in the shoulder and you might need to seek help with a physio. Okay, so then we're going to have a look at arms overhead. Yeah, how does that feel? Reaching up. When was the last time you reached overhead? Perhaps when you were at school, you said, "Yes, miss, I know the answer." And then both is even more challenging when you lift both arms up. So how does that feel? If that's really difficult, if you don't have any major pain, then practice doing that when you're sitting watching the telly, doing nothing, chatting with a friend on the phone. It's not face to face, is it? Yeah. And then we have rotation at the shoulder joints. So start off very gently here. Yeah, so we have rotator muscles, and they tend to be perhaps the weakest link for some people. We don't tend to work those rotator cuff muscles very much. Yeah. All right, guys, so that's the mobility. Important to do those, particularly before your strength training and after, perhaps. We'll do some stretches afterwards. All right, so for the overload today, we could do some of the arm work seated. We've already done that. So if you wanted to overload, if that feels okay in the shoulder, then you could either take a band here and you can hold it with one hand and just feel how that feels against resistance. Yeah. And then overhead as well. So I'm not going to take you through a workout today. I will be on Saturday. We'll be putting all together. I just want you to practice these. Yeah. So you see that is not a full range of movement. Yeah. So it's better than nothing. As we want to get stronger, you could kind of change the range. So this is my anchor point, and do it on both sides. Okay. You might find that if you have small bottles of water, then this is perhaps more practical, more functional, because we can have we're not restricted too much because of the size of the band. All right, so we're going to the side, and then we can go forward, and we need to do, we do about 8 to 12, yeah, and then see how it feels on the other side, yeah, forward and side, and then maybe do them together. So that would be a progression there, guys, yeah, and then overhead. So this only weighs about a pound, but it's still over time as you do all the exercises, put them together. Yeah, so just feel, first of all, with body weight, and then maybe add a little bit of additional weight. Yeah, doing one arm at a time. We call it unilateral. And then you could alternate. Oh, this water's cold in the bottle. Or pressing up overhead. So really aiming to get those arms straight and keeping them parallel. Yeah. Okay. And then bringing them down. Okay. So we'll be looking at arms later on in the week. But without any added resistance, we can actually lean into the wall, and then we're going to use a bit of gravity to work harder. And I really like leaning into the wall because it makes us work on the shoulder stability. So I've already told you that we want to keep the shoulders down, and we don't want to retract or protract, because now we're looking at stability. Yeah, if we don't stabilize the shoulder blades and the shoulder joints and the shoulders during some of the exercises, then we're going to sustain injury in the shoulders. Yeah. So if we come against the wall, always have your feet hip distance apart, not closer. That's a more advanced exercise, and we don't really want them much wider. So if I was standing upright, my hands are about just below shoulder height, and I gently have a little bit of a lean into the wall. So this could be a challenge already, so maybe don't go so far away with the feet. Okay, so we want to make sure the hips don't fall forward. So we do need a certain amount of pulling in of the tummy there. All right, so we want to make sure that we're not dropping down through the shoulders like this. So I'm retracted and I'm just hanging in my shoulder girdle. So we need to come not retracted or protracted like this, but halfway. So that's important. So we could do a few of those, and the heels can come off the floor. So a little bit of abdominals pulling in there. So that might be enough for you. And we could change the position and take the hands wider, and it works the shoulders slightly differently. So see how that feels. If it doesn't feel right, then go to the basic position that we've just looked at. So recommend between 8 to 12 up to 15. Yeah, maybe a couple of sets, and then we can bring the arms together. So still stabilizing the shoulders, shoulder blades, staying wide across. I don't want to collapse here when I'm doing that. I'm staying wide across the collarbone. So I'm actually working all those muscles around the shoulder blades, the shoulders. And while I'm working them, I'm strengthening them. So it's really important that we get that good neutral position. Does that make sense, guys? Yeah. We could also work in the wrists and the shoulders. So that's all working the shoulders in a different position and just getting them stronger all around the various positions of the shoulder. the arms into the shoulder joints. Yeah, so staggered stance, one arm up, one arm down, making sure I'm not dropping down. So pulling in the tummy, tucking your bottom under slightly there, guys. Yeah. Okay, and then coming away. You might want a little rest after that. So if one of those doesn't feel right, you don't have to do it. There's always different ways to do things. Yeah. And then now this is a progression. Once you can do those wall pushes, wall presses, then maybe a little bit of power. Yeah, so maybe you're ready for the power. You've already been doing maybe some floor box push-ups or even modified push-ups with the knees on the floor. Yeah, so here I've got a lean in here. So by now I'll be able to be further away with the feet. So that would be a progression from what we've just been doing. So the closer to the wall, the less the lean, the less the amount of resistance you have, and the further away, the more the resistance you've got, and the harder you're working, and the stronger the shoulder, the muscles that stabilize the shoulders and the shoulder blades are going to work. Yeah. Or if you're not stabilizing them, if you're not going through the basic moves first and getting that base strength, then possibly you're going to go into injury. Yeah, so as we add resistance, it's really important. Our technique is got to be really good. Yeah. All right. So, and then moving on, this is not so beginner. So we're leaning here and we can start to go light on the hands. It's a bit like a bunny hop. Yeah, a little press. So we slowly lower and press. So I'm stabilizing the shoulders. It's quite a good wrist strengthening exercise, that one is. But it's also, you've got to practice stabilizing the shoulders, and it's a bit more challenging because there's more movement going on there. Yeah. All right, fabulous. So when we've done that, we've got another one to do. So it's also good to strengthen your arms in different positions. So overhead, there are ways that we can do it. It's a little bit complicated to do it with body weight without using additional resistance like bands or weights. Yeah. So pressing down is really a very useful exercise to get yourself out of a chair. So do this. Find a chair with arms. Generally, we do chair Pilates without arms because we can move the legs freely, but arms are good. I must get some to demonstrate with. But you pop your hands on the arms and you're just pressing yourself up here. So imagine the arms are there and you're just pressing down. So again, it's really important that as you press down, you're not going like this into the shoulders. Yeah. So you're actually working all those muscles still as you press down. Keep the shoulders away from the ears, and you don't even have to lift your bottom off the chair. You can just go light, little push. And this is not just great to practice and make sure that as you get older and older and older, that you can still get out of your chair, your armchair, because most of the chairs do have arms, don't they? That you can still do that. But at some stage in our lives, we might need to go around on crutches. And I remember when I broke my leg 4 years ago, and perhaps the hardest thing for me was getting around on crutches. It was so stressful for the arms and the shoulders, yet I was strong. Yeah, I was strong and fit, but I still found it hard. So doing this tricep press with the arms of the chair, those are the muscles you'll be working if you have the unfortunate occasion to have to go around on crutches. Yep. Okay, so I'm just going to grab myself a drink. Always have water with you guys. Right, so excuse me, I'm going to have a cough. Okay, so and then when you've finished, it's pretty good to just loosen out those shoulders. And maybe just a little stretch at the back of the shoulder. And take the hands around the back of the chair and you just lean forward. So I'm just going to show you from the side on that because this is really nice. We get very tight at the front of the shoulders. So if you just come to the front of your chair and hold and just push your chest forward, and then you get a nice stretch at the front of the shoulders there, guys. Yeah. And we've also done quite a lot of stabilizing through the spine. So you might want to just gently stretch down through the lower back particularly. We don't want to ram just through the thoracic spine. So keep your thoracic spine a little bit straight and then roll down through lower, middle, and perhaps a little bit of upper back, and then gently bring yourself all the way up. Okay, so always good to stretch out everything really, and so I must stay there with shoulders today. So going forward on this series, so I will be going live at 9 o'clock every morning. Actually, that's a lie. Wednesday and Friday it will be recorded, but you won't know the difference. And going forward for next week, I'm going to progress the exercises, and I believe that the exotube or the tubing is the next stage. They're really friendly to use, so I can make them as long as I want to. So if I want easier, I pop that down on the floor, I make the tube, and I've just got very light overload. It's almost just like the bottle of water, but I have more there's more things I can do. And this is very friendly because resistance is what we call linear variable resistance. So here, where I'm not as strong, it's pretty easy. And as I stretch the band, it gets harder. So we can overload the muscle in a very friendly, safe way. Okay, so I've got these on the shop on my website, wellforbeing.com, and they're really good investment. They come in different strengths. So the easiest one I think is yellow, and this is the next one, which you can see is blue. It's the next one, but this is also pretty yeah, it's kind of not quite, it's almost intermediate, but there's about 5 different strengths. Yeah. Okay, guys. So thanks for watching. Oh, you might want to just circle the wrist round. I could be here all day. Yeah. So if you have any questions, get in touch with me of those. And if it doesn't feel right, then don't do it. Maybe if you feel that you've got pain in your shoulders, then you might need to go and see a physio, a specialist. Yeah. Okay. So otherwise, it's so important to do these exercises, the mobility every day, but the strength like 2 to 3 times a week, really important to avoid injury. And then you'll be able to carry more shopping when you go shopping, and just stay strong, and helps to avoid injuries around the joints as well as we get stronger. Yeah. And if we don't use our muscles, we lose them. Yeah, we lose the ability. And even if we stop training, within 10 days to 2 weeks, we start to lose the muscle strength. So we need to do this on a regular basis, guys, particularly as we get over 50. Yeah, I know I'm really promoting strength in the over 60, but over 50, after we've gone past menopause, with the reduction in the hormones, testosterone and estrogen, then we do tend to lose not just bone loss, but also start to lose some of the muscle mass as well. So it's important. And by the time we get to 70, we could have lost 30% of our muscle mass. So it's really important that we strength train on a regular basis. Yeah. And so then you can carry on doing the things that you need to do, the things that you want to do, and the things that you love to do. Yeah. So that's my goal for you guys. You have a good day. Thanks for watching. And I will catch you. What are we doing tomorrow? It'll be lower body. Yeah. So we have gravity. It's much easier to use gravity and body weight for that. So you don't necessarily need to bring any additional weights. Yeah, it depends where you are in your fitness level, in your strength level. Okay. All right. You take care. Have a good day, guys, and thanks for watching. Bye.